Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we have another What's on the Shelf. Let's get started. First up we have Pacific Rails Inc. by Yellow Games. And the goal of this game is to connect the East Coast to the West Coast with continuous railroad. As soon as that happens, the end of the game is triggered. Play continues until all players have had the same number of turns. Then final scores are calculated. Player with the most victory points at the end of the game wins. Victory points are gained by laying track tiles to connect the cities and building houses and/or telegraph stations. Bonus victory points are awarded based on the number of railway and telegraph stations each player has on the map, and then any scoring goals they've completed. And you have this cool little train board that you get to extend and add extra cars to. Next up, we have Cry Havoc. And this game is won by the player with the most victory points at the end of the game, like most games. The primary way to score victory points is by controlling regions with crystals during rounds which scoring is enabled. Victory points are also scored by controlling territories, capturing prisoners, killing enemy units, and using certain terrain or certain tactics and skills. And one faction is a lot easier and stronger, I think, than the others. Next up, we have Rattle, Battle, and Grab the Loot. There is a lot of dice in this game. You'll be dropping them in the box. You're, I guess, a pirate. But the objective of this game is to become the most glorious and infamous pirate by defeating the Navy, plundering merchants, upgrading your own ship, hiring the best crew, and grabbing valuable loot. Each game is a series of adventures. There are various ways of scoring victory points. Each scenario, at the end of the game, the player with the most victory points wins. And next up, we have Imperial Settlers Empires of the North. And the goal of this game is to have the most victory points, like most other games there. They're earned by expanding your clan, sailing off to unexplored islands. During the game, players will gain victory points from actions taken throughout the game, from location features, and from the locations and resources that they possessed by their clan. Each player with the most, or no, the player, not each player, player with the most points at the end of the game has built the greatest empire and wins the game. But you have unique decks of cards for each of the different factions or whatever in this game. I also have the four other expansions or whatever that go to this. The Egyptian kings, barbarian hordes, Roman banners, Japanese islands. They each add 2 new decks and some new cards and yeah, new stuff. Next up, we have First Martians, Adventures on the Red Planet. And in this game, this is a story-driven cooperative adventure game for 1 to 4 players. You'll win or lose together. Each mission you try to accomplish an objective with a specific number of rounds. The integrated app will challenge you with goals to complete and obstacles to overcome. Yep. And you try to survive, and you'll have problems occur, and to try to fix them, sending your rovers and stuff out. And I've only played it 1 time, so I don't remember a lot about it, but yeah. And next up, we have Adventure Tactics, Damien's Tower. And in Adventure Tactics, this is a campaign-driven tactical board game where it's played over a series of chapters. As a brave hero, you and your party will level up between chapters, unlocking new class powers and equipment as you advance throughout your quest to free the kingdoms of Tyranny and Queen Damian. Features 2 manuals for you to use: a rulebook, campaign guide. The rulebook outlines the universal rules of play, while the campaign guide includes 50 plus individual chapters that are linked together through an overall campaign. Read the rulebook before playing, yeah. And it's a pretty fun game. It's got a lot of choices. You can upgrade your class and change out your card. It has kind of a deck building mechanic there with your leveling up. And you can unlock like fighter and archer to become another thing or whatever and gain cards from those. Next up, we have Hero versus Guardian, a game of dungeon craft. And this game is played over several rounds. Players take turns progressing toward their goal. Each player or player's actions and objectives depend on his or her role. There are 2 roles to select from: the Guardian or the Hero. The Guardian defends the dungeon from the hero. The Guardian scores points by capturing adventurers and treasures and protecting the treasure vault. The hero sends adventurers through the dungeon to fight beasts, remove traps, and conquer rooms. The hero scores points by exploring and defeating rooms. Up next, we have Sword and Sorcery. And in this game, it's a dungeon crawling scenario-based game, I guess. It says epic fantasy cooperative board game in which 1 to 5 players embody heroes with unique powers recalled from death. They fight together against the forces of evil that are controlled by the game system itself, or which is controlled by the game system itself. The players to save the kingdom and break the spell binding their souls. The heroes recalled as immortal ghost souls, but still weakened by the resurrection, grow stronger during the story-driven quest. By acquiring soul points, players can regenerate the hero's soul, returning them to legendary status with multiple powers, magic, and soul weapons, and powerful artifacts. Embodies the gameplay of the most famous MMORPGs with the experience of a fast-paced action RPG to forge the ultimate heroic fantasy adventure. And lastly on this shelf, we have Galaxy Hunters. And in Galaxy Hunters, 2 to 4 players take on the role of mercenaries hired by mega corporations to hunt and harvest the rampant mutations, featuring an inventive pilot and mech neutral link system. Pairing different pilots with different mechs will unlock new powers and special abilities. Using money and resources earned for bartering with planets and harvesting DNA from creatures, players will upgrade their mechs with new weapons items. Galaxy Hunters seamlessly blends the excitement of crafting a unique character with the deep strategy of a Euro game style worker placement. But it's got big cool mech miniatures. But I guess that is it for this video. If you liked what you've seen, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below, and ring the bell to keep up to date with my latest videos. And as always, have a great day.